and welcome to the Michael Zehr Show. We're down with another episode today. I was missing in action for 3 weeks. I was out of town for a couple weeks, and last week the veteran I had scheduled couldn't make it and couldn't find someone to fill in. So here we are this morning, and today my special guest veteran is Travis Green. And he's a devil dog, a Marine. And I only know that you're a devil dog because I was reading your hat.
All right. You got to represent.
Yeah, got to represent. So before we get started, I wanted to point out something to everybody. On the back right here on this table, we finally got the flag encased. So in honor to pay respect to our country and our flag, I'm going to stand and we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance real quick. So bear with me here. Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you for that. I was so excited to see that. I came in here, Wednesday, to get some batteries out of the cabinet over here. And I saw the flag there, and I got all excited and misty, and because I love our flag, I do, and I love the people that served it and served our country and protected us so well. So, Travis, tell us a little bit about yourself. Introduce yourself to the audience.
Well, Travis Green. I'm 58 years old right now. Originally from San Bernardino, California, Southern California area. I joined the Marine Corps in April of 1990, and I served 20 years. Got out in April of 2010, and it's one of the best experiences I had. I try to encourage any young person that don't have no life goals to do the military.
Right. Very cool.
Yeah.
So tell us, what was it that inspired you to join the Marine Corps?
Well, I wanted to join the military, and I said, well, let me join as for the best one out there.
Right.
I said, if I'm going to do this, let me challenge myself as much as I possibly could. And the Marine Corps
is the way to go.
Is the way to go. If you really want to challenge yourself physically and mentally, the Marine Corps, as far as military branches go.
Did you have any family history of any kind of service in the military?
I've had some cousins that were military. Okay. No immediate family was military. I was actually the first one immediate family that joined the military, and the only one still. So,
oh, that's kind of like me.
Yeah,
my dad, and I did have an uncle that served in the Navy back in Vietnam. So, but I do find that somehow service always seems to run in the family somewhere.
It usually does. Usually, I mean, I got a daughter now. I wish she would join, but she may be over the age limit. But if I had a son, he would definitely be military.
Yeah.
Whatever branch of service, maybe not the Marine Corps, but, as long as you do any type of military service, it's just a dedication to your country so that you care and you learn a lot.
Right.
You mature a lot.
And there's a lot of good benefits, too, for joining as well.
Definitely.
So what was the MOS that you chose, and why did you choose that?
Well, actually, I came in open contract at the time. So they put me as, I was a 1371.
Which is
a combat engineer.
Okay.
And I went to school out at Camp Lejeune at, what was that? At Courthouse Bay.
Okay.
And then I done my 4 years, and then I had to do a lap move because there wasn't no boat spaces. So I done a lap move to a 2171, which was electro-optic technician. And so I had to go back to school for that, and then that's what I finished up my career as a 2171.
And what were some of the things that you would do?
Well, as a 2171, basically, anything that the warfighter looks through to acquire a target, be it on his weapon, in a vehicle, in a tank, anything they look through, we work on that. So basically, chasing a bubble valve. They used to call us glass lickers because optics has got to be clean.
Right.
And a lot of it electrical stuff. I mean, I know in school we learned how to take down to the component on a circuit board. Like, take that off and do it. Right now, they just take the whole thing out and replace it. But we learned how to solder, desolder, use a scientific calculator. It was like 9 months, that school, and that was in Albany, Georgia, at the Marine Corps Logistics Base down there.
Oh, wow. Did you do any kind of any of the laser guidance stuff or any of that?
Not so much the laser guidance, no.
No?
No. But anything, I mean, Like the howitzers use two types of sights, the M18 and M17 to do that.
Okay.
When all the ACOGs and all the stuff you put on your weapon to acquire a target. So I guess you could say lasers. We work on that stuff. I mean, it's just so much. The Dragon, the TOW unit, which
Right.
was a wire guided missile. We
Yeah,
used to work
that's
on
a-
that.
yeah.
And the Dragon, which one that thankfully went out of date because it was just a monster to work on. We worked on that.
Wow.
So, and then as a combat engineer, that's basically blowing stuff up and building it. So that was interesting.
Blowing up bridges and rebuilding them?
Yeah, using C4, TNT, dynamite, blowing up, seeing the effects of different types, blasting caps, all that trash. So, I mean, it was a good experience.
So you said how many years total did you serve?
I've done 20 years.
20 years. So you retired at 20.
Yeah.
What did it mean to you personally about serving in the Marines?
I initially went in the Marine Corps just to get, because I wasn't married at the time, but I had a steady girlfriend, and I needed just a steady income.
Right.
So I basically joined the military just to give me more stability in life. But once I got in there, and I noticed the camaraderie, the esprit de corps, the bonding, especially in the Marine Corps, the bonding is so tight, it's unbelievable. Then I decided, this is something that is going to carry me for the rest of my life. So my first reenlistment, I reenlisted. That was over in Okinawa, Japan, at Camp Hansen. And then after that, I said, well, the lifestyle fits me.
How far into your service in the Marine Corps were you when you decided you were going to make it a career?
Probably my second year. My second year.
Really?
Year. Yeah.
You liked it that much? You just
liked
decided this is it?
I liked it that much. I said, well, I don't have no other plans to do anything else, so I'm gonna stick with that. And I met some good people, some good mentors that gave me advice when I was a young Marine out there. And I asked a lot of questions. What is this gonna entail? And they gave me good advice. And I said, well, this is me. I like this. I like the bonding you have as a Marine. I like the when you complete a job, how good it feels. Your fellow Marines backing you up,
right?
And this and that, and you don't get that in civilian sector. It's pretty much some civilian jobs are kind of cutthroat.
Right.
They're all out for them and this and that, and the Marine Corps is not like that, because that guy that you cutthroat then may be the one that's sitting in a fire hole next to
saving
you,
your life.
saving your life.
Yeah.
So you can't do that. I mean,
right.
and there's no race. I mean, racism exists everywhere, but in the Marine Corps, we stomp it out really quick because there's no point for it.
Right.
I
had interviewed a veteran from the 60s, 70s, Mr. Davis, and he's from Selma, Alabama, and I tell you, he was telling me about, the racism in the military back then, and man, it was so emotional and so moving, and I was so glad that he was able to share his story with us to this day. It's so just so moving because it happened back then, and I'm glad to see that there are more and more steps now taken to where they're.
Yeah, I mean, we try to educate people. I was a drill instructor for 3 years down in San Diego. And I remember we had an incident where these recruits were being racist towards each other just on color of the skin. And I pulled them in, chewed them out, and I said, this doesn't make any sense. I said, because I'm a black man, and I'm telling you what to do every day as a drill instructor, and you got to do it. And this person next to you, he may be the one saving your life. He may be the one pulling you back over the line and saving your life. And you're going to have a problem with him just because of the color of his skin? Right. I mean, if he's not a good person, then you need to note that. And I mean, and it doesn't matter what color skin you are. You could be a bad person regardless. But just based on the color of your skin, I said, this makes no sense. And at the end of the cycle, they actually end up becoming good friends. Because I talked to the one kid, and I said, I can understand where you're coming from. I think he was a white kid, like from Tennessee or something, never really been exposed to anybody of color.
Yeah.
So I told him I can understand where you're coming from. You probably learned it from your friends or your family around you. I said, but in this situation, I said, you can't be like that.
I love how people can grow,
Yeah,
they can learn and grow and change bad habits like that.
Yeah. I mean, you're not born racist. It's
Nope.
taught.
Yeah,
By
it's definitely
somebody.
taught.
Yeah.
Definitely. That's cool. So, again, I want to thank you for sharing that with us. So thank you. There's just no place for it in not only in the military, but there's just no place for it in our country, period. I mean, that's so we need to get over that. And it's...
Yeah, I mean, it's when you think about it, I mean, we just got through Black History Month last month.
In February, right?
In February,
Yep.
yeah. And it's amazing when you hear about the history that's not taught.
Mm-hmm.
About the other people, not just blacks, Hispanics, the other people that have contributed to this country with inventions, ideas, and stuff that you'd be like, I had no idea that there was a person of color that invented this stuff, that this was, like, I tell people, like, the Lone Ranger was based off of Bass Reeves, which was a black man.
Okay, now that you brought that up, I'm going to just say I don't want to get off script here.
Yeah,
that show kicked butt, man. Did you see it on Paramount Plus?
I got to watch the last 2 episodes.
Oh, do. Oh my God, that show is just phenomenal.
Yeah. I commend I forgot he's the same guy that done Yellowstone. I commend him for bringing that to light to people, because a lot of people just don't know, right? Because it's not taught in the schools.
And I liked how because at the beginning, they showed how he was fighting for the Confederacy, right? Mm-hmm. And then it goes from how he went from that into when he was with the slavery. And I don't want to ruin the show for everybody, but just a quick synopsis. And then how he somehow gets out of that and becomes a lawman. Yeah. And it's a great story. So if you haven't seen it, thank you for bringing that up.
I think it's on Paramount. Paramount Plus, yes. Outstanding show. Anybody needs to watch that.
It's all part of the same story with Yellowstone and
1883, 1920. Yeah, it's
great storytelling.
What's the guy's name? Sheridan, I think I can't remember his last name, but he's a great freaking storyteller.
Yep. I know we got off track. I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh Lord. So, what positive experience did you get from serving in the military that you carried into the civilian sector?
Well, I mean, being a drill instructor was one of the most stressful jobs I ever experienced. I mean, there's so much you have to know that's not taught, and you learn it from experience. So, I mean, I don't stress out about things no more. I mean, some people, my wife, sometimes she goes on a tangent and stresses out about stuff, and I tell her, slow down, wait. I said, can we change it? Is it worth changing it? And if not, then just let it go and carry on with your life. But I don't stress out about stuff. And I read people, and I mean, everybody, I give everybody the benefit of the doubt. I said, I don't come off as an a-hole. I don't know if we could say. I don't come off as an asshole initially.
Yeah, you can say it.
I read people, and if I read somebody that I know is going to potentially become a problem, I just don't associate myself with them.
Right.
And like I said, stress. I mean, and I learned most of that, just about all that, from the drill field. Like I said, it's a stressful job, but it's a very rewarding job too. When you get this recruit that's come in at 17, 18 years old, and they're just, they don't know anything. Mm-hmm. They act like they don't know anything. Down there we call them, background we call them dinks.
Okay.
D-I-N-K, which means desperately in need of knowledge.
Now that's cool.
Yeah, and then you with the recruits for 3 months and just see how they evolved, and how they changed, and how they respect, and how they've grown as an individual. Is just so rewarding to see that. I mean, I know one of my recruits. He is now a sergeant major, about to retire. Or maybe he's not. I know he's been in 23 years. Wow. And he is now a sergeant major and still going strong. We're friends on Facebook, and that's one of. I was like, wow, that's one of my recruits. That's a sergeant. He stayed in and be a sergeant major. And when I talked to him, he says, me and the other drill instructors on the team was a pivotal point that made him who he is today. And you get recruits like that evolve. It just makes you feel good. That you had an impact on somebody's life. Because I've done that for 3 years, and I also done 2 summers. My last duty station was at Quantico, Virginia, and I've done 2 summers out there as a staff instructor for the candidates, which are future officers.
Right.
And that's good too, because I mean they look up to you and they respect you so much, as long as you don't bullshit them. Because I always tell you bullshit a recruit, they will find out at the end how you really are. And I was truthful. I told them exactly how I was. I told them what I liked, what I didn't like, what they needed to be successful in the Marine Corps and possibly in life. And when you go that with anybody, they end up respecting you at the end, and they actually take what you say to heart.
It sounds to me like you were a really good mentor and role model.
I would like to think I would like to
example.
think I was.
Yeah.
I would like to think I was. I mean, I talked to.
That's the impression I
Yeah,
get.
my troops, I talked to them. Most of my troops that I work with in my office, they knew how I was. If they come up with a problem, I would tell them my opinion, and I would say, this is the way I see it. Now, this works for me. I don't know if it's going to work for you, but this is the way I see it. This is the way my interpretation of what you could do to make yourself a better person.
Mm-hmm.
And most of them took my advice because they knew I wasn't blowing smoke anywhere. You know, if I didn't like, I would, I was a decent runner by Marine Corps standards, but I wasn't the best. And I told them that. I said, I do enough to get my first class PFT. I said, but, I'm not the rabbit in the group.
Right.
And I tell people now today, I said, if I'm scared of you, I'm not going to run, because then you're just going to chase me and I'll be tired. And I know that honesty that goes with it. They just, at the end, when they get to know you, they just respect you more. I mean, I've had people before. There's one guy, he tried to tell the recruits that he was some weird MOS, and they found out that MOS didn't even exist, and then they just had no respect for him. They couldn't, at that point, his integrity was lost. And once your integrity is gone, then everything that comes out your mouth is questionable.
Did you ever have that one soldier that you looked at and you thought, oh, Lord, have mercy on this kid, and then he comes up to you after training is complete or something, and
there were some that you go, why did you choose this branch of service? Because you're not, looking at you now, 1 week into it, I don't think you can make it. And every drill instructor, he pinpoints recruits, or he has his pet peeve. And this one kid, he was problems in the beginning, but I said, well, I'm going to push this recruit and be on him as hard as I possibly can and see if he can hack it, see if he can take it.
Right.
And he actually ended up being like, I think he ended up being like the guide at the end.
Wow.
And graduated with honors. And at the end, and it was amazing because even him at the end, because the week when I was real struck, like the week before they graduate, you have family night, and like the parents come in and you talk to them, and when his parents saw him, they was like, they couldn't believe it was the same kid, and they came up to me and say, hey, thank you, you done an outstanding job. And I told him, I said, in the beginning, I didn't think he was gonna make it.
Right.
I didn't think he was gonna make it. So I was on him as much as I possibly could to see if he was gonna break.
And he may have ended up having a very successful military career thanks to you for that.
Yeah. I mean, granted, there are kids that can't adjust to military lifestyle. Right. You get those, and I mean, you may start out with a platoon of 95 recruits and then end up graduating 60. Either they can't adapt, or for medical reasons they get hurt, or family matters, they want to get out. But you try to make everybody military, the basic trained Marine. That's what the drill was supposed to do. Not everybody's going to make it, but the ones that did make it, you try to say, I put as much effort into these recruits as I possibly could. So you set them up for success. What they do once they graduate and go out there, hopefully, they meet with a good mentor, somebody to guide them. Unfortunately, some of them get sidetracked and they don't make it. And, I mean, that's life. That's what it is.
What advice would you give to anyone that was thinking of joining the military right now?
If you are still physically and mentally able and have no long-term life goals, join the military. It's 4. I mean, at the minimum, I think I'm not sure if they still do 3-year contracts, but it's 4 years. 4 years to go by like that.
Mm-hmm.
In there, you're going to learn responsibility. You're going to learn maturity. And when you get out on your own, the biggest problem now with young kids got on the big expenses is where you're going to live and what you're going to eat. The military takes care of that.
Mm-hmm.
If you're single, you're going to live in the barracks, eat in the chow hall. Save your money. Volunteer for everything because it's going to give you more life experiences. I mean, I go back to my hometown and I see somebody that I maybe went to high school with, and they be like, and I'm like, you're still here? And they say, what are you doing? I said, join the military. I've been to Iraq. I've been to Hong Kong. I've been to Singapore. I've been to Australia. I've been to Okinawa. I've been to Bangladesh. I've been to all these places. I've seen these third world countries. I've experienced things that the average person don't experience. I volunteered for everything I possibly could, and it just makes you a better person in the whole. And then after 4 years, if you don't like it, get out. Get out, that's fine. It may not be for you, but you still got the GI Bill. You can still go to school. The benefits, you can still get a VA loan. You could possibly get a house. And you're just going to mature so much as long as you apply yourself. I mean, granted, you can get in there and just do the bare minimum and squeak by for 4 years and get out and maybe do this much and not have no knowledge.
Right.
But if you go in there with the right attitude, like I'm going to go in here, I'm going to volunteer for stuff, I want to make myself a better person, I'm going to save my money, I'm going to invest in stuff, it will set you up for life. I mean, like I said, I'm 20, been out 20, retired 20 years, I've been retired for 24 years. Fortunately for me, when I retired, I went overseas and I contracted in Afghanistan for about 3 years, which set me up real good. I came back, I bought my home in California, I bought me a new car. Me and my wife, we've been here in Cochise County about 4 years. Sold the house in California, paid for the one out here. I mean, I got cars are paid for, my Jeep is paid for, my Harley's paid for. I bought a side. It just sets you up if you work your money right. And I could not have been in any position that I am now if it wasn't for the military. It's just,
well, imagine too that you go in at 18 years of age, right? Mm-hmm. Serve 20 years and retire. At 38 years old, which is young,
yes,
you're drawing military retirement pay for the rest of your life.
Yeah. I mean, I came in when I was 24, so I came in later than most. But still, I mean, I know plenty of people that come in early, do 20 years, get out, get that military retirement with disability benefits if you rate it, start another job. I know a lot of them get into law enforcement, do 20 years from that.
Yeah.
And so when you finally stop working, you got 2 pensions. Yeah. If you done your disability, you got disability.
3 pensions. Then.
Yeah, you got disability, which is tax-free.
Well, your military retirement is tax-free in the state of Arizona.
That's right, yeah. And in Arizona, I don't pay no state tax either.
Yeah.
And everything I put in federal, I get back. So at this point, I don't pay no taxes.
Right.
Arizona's, the place to be. I don't want to, I left California because it was crowded.
Right.
And that the cost of living was so high. So, I mean, but Arizona, go to Yuma. Go to Phoenix. Don't come down here because I like.
We love it down here.
I like the small town.
Yeah.
In Zehr Vista, I like the small town feeling, and I always tell people if we get a Costco, we're getting too crowded.
Yeah, or a Red Lobster, which is the big joke in our
everybody's
town.
trying to Red Lobster, but I like the small town feel here. Like I said, we've been here 4 years, and this is a great place to be a retirement.
So tell us, how did you find us down here in Cochise County?
Well, actually, my wife, we knew we wanted to get out of California, and we was looking at either Arizona. Everybody was moving to Texas, so I said, I don't want to move to Texas. I was looking for Nevada, and she looked up, and Sierra Vista, Cochise County, was either the top 5 or the top 10 places to retire in Arizona. Mm-hmm. And so we literally came out here. We got out here right before the COVID thing hit, February 2020. And we came out here not knowing anybody. I mean, all my family's still back in San Bernardino, in our San Bernardino area, and we came out here not knowing anybody. And since we've been here, we made so many friends. I mean, the Warrior Healing Center, where we're at now, has helped me out immensely.
Tell us what they've done for you.
They actually, when I came out here initially, I was at 70%. I actually went through them, and they have a vet link, which is a program. They actually got me up to 100%.
So you went through vet links.
I went through vet link. I got 100%. I came here before. They helped me do my wills and power attorneys and my burial thing for me and my wife.
Is that Joe and Lori Lancaster?
I believe so. Yeah. I know they do taxes here. I think they're only doing it for active duty now.
No. The taxes that they do here is for the whole community. They only have to be military.
Yeah. So they do taxes. Me and my other veteran friends, we come here for Fun Food Friday.
Yeah.
So we come here and we camaraderie. We meet together, eat food. They got a room here where you could just come and sit and use a massage chair, come get drinks. I know they was doing training for dogs.
Yeah, they still are.
Airlines.
Service dogs, yep.
I mean, there's so many
Flutes
things.
for vets, the drum circle.
They do so many things for vets here that I haven't even scratched the surface of everything they can do. And then I'm actually part of the American Legion out in Tombstone. I'm the adjutant for the riders, and I know we do donations here for the Warrior Healing Center. And I mean, it's a great thing to give donations too, because they do so much. I tell any veteran that I see out there, I said, are you aware of the Warrior Healing Center? They was like, no. I said, well, are you at 100%? Or do you need taxes? Or you need help with wills of power of attorney? They was like, yeah. I said, go there. I said, even if they may not have the person in there to do it, they can guide you to somebody that's going to help you out. One way or another. Housing, they may not do it here, but they will guide you to somebody that's going to help you. And then what I like about the Warrior Healers, they would do checkups on you to see how you're doing. And that's what I like about them. They don't just put you out there, then forget about you, and then boom, you're just a number. They actually care enough that they will check on you to make sure you're doing. They make sure the people that they send you out are treating you right, and it's just a good organization.
Yeah, they have a Rona, what they call a Rona call list, and then they get a list of veterans, and then the volunteers come in and just start making calls and doing like health and welfare checks on our veterans here in Cochise County. It's great.
And then we have Fort Huachuca here, which is the Army base. Because like I said, when we moved out here, my first thing I was like, well, VA. I'm with the VA. How's the VA hospital going to work for me? And then we find out, it's Fort Huachuca. So I was like, they got a military base here? And they got a VA thing here, and Tucson is only an hour and 20 minutes away. So all my veteran needs are still taken care of. I'm not in the middle of, nowhere where I got to drive 3 hours to see a doctor or something. It's all right here. And the Warrior Healing Center here is just amazing what they do here.
So good morning, Cheryl, and thank you for joining us. I saw some of your comments here that you've been here for 30 years and that you came out here with 3 kids and nothing else, and that you love this town, and that you're a veteran. And when you say you go there too, are you talking about the Warrior Healing Center or the VA? I'm just kind of curious, because if you haven't been to the Warrior Healing Center, I would encourage you to come in and check us out. There's just so much here for veterans to do, and if they need food, we have a food pantry. It's just, oh my Lord, there's so much help and so much love in this building that just it's overwhelming for me working here. I see it all the time, and it's just amazing. So she said so she has been here to the Warrior Healing Center. Awesome. I'm glad to hear that. Awesome. So one last question for you. You were talking a little bit about American Legion riders, so I wanted to touch on that before we end the broadcast today. Give us a little bit of an idea. What are some of do you have any upcoming events, or what are some of your fundraisers?
We have the Bikers for Boots event. I don't have the exact date. It's in May. Okay. It's a big event we do. We usually raise, thousands of dollars for veteran things. Like I said, at this time, I'm the adjutant for the riders, so I'm in charge of membership and making sure everybody's patches and conformity and stuff like that. And I know we have 52 out here in Sierra Vista. At the time, I joined 24 because they have a larger riders group. And just, Tombstone, I want to be part of the Tombstone one. But 52, they do a lot of things here. In fact, 52 has just started a off-road group, which I joined. Since me and my wife got the side-by-side, so we just joined that. But and a lot of people, I'm surprised a lot of people don't know what the American Legion is.
Right.
And for me, I usually, and most people are familiar with the VFW.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, in my opinion, I said we're like the VFW, only better. Because I mean, we just do so much. I know I started in California with 852, which was the Marietta Temecula American Legion, and I started out there, and I was a sergeant of arms for the Riders. I was a sergeant of arms for the Post. I was the vice president for the Riders for a little bit, and I was actually the president of the Riders for a little bit. And I mean, it's just, and you still get that once you get out of the military, you still get that camaraderie because it's all veterans that are involved in there. I mean, there are spouses, and we do have the SALs, which is somebody to join the SAL if your grandfather was a veteran, or your father was a veteran, or somebody within your family was a veteran. You can still join the American Legion, but the majority of them are veterans, so you still have that same mindset. So we go in there, and the Army and the Navy, we joke around and talk about each other and stuff.
Right.
But at the end of the day,
it's all love.
We all love each other. We
Yep.
all respect each other
Yep.
because we've been in the military. We had that same mentality.
Yep.
And it's just a good thing. I mean, I've dealt when in the military. I dealt with some civilians that just didn't understand the military mentality, especially in the Marine Corps, because the Marine Corps is all gung ho, this and that, and some civilians, especially as a drill instructor, they just didn't understand. Why are you yelling at this kid? Why are you treating him like this? Why are you treating him like that? And it's not like, okay, well, first of all, I don't really need to explain it to you because it's too much, but we are preparing these kids for war. We are preparing them to deal with stress. And me yelling at them and stressing them out, it's better for me to, what's the saying? The more you sweat in peace, the less you bleed in war.
Wow, that's deep.
So if I could stress you out to where you can handle it, when you get out there in a wartime situation, you won't let the stress dictate what you do. You have a mindset where you better think about what's going on, come up with a plan, and execute it.
Well, I think all the branches, pretty much what they do is when they get a hold of a recruit, they break them down and build them up into a better, not only a better person, but they turn them into a soldier. Like, for example, when I entered, I was a punk and just, I didn't know, I thought I knew everything.
You was a dink.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Right on, man.
Yeah.
But the military saved my life. Mm-hmm. It did. And that's all I'm going to say. But it made me a better person. It gave me that drive, that focus that I needed in life. And
I had when I was growing up, I had a best friend of mine. And when I was in Okinawa, I found out that he got killed.
Oh, wow.
And
I'm sorry.
I mean, we grew up, he was my best friend. I mean,
right.
I'll say Patrick Fowler. Back in the day, we grew up. He was the best friend. I found it because he was back there and he got involved with stuff that he shouldn't have been involved with. And like you said, if I would have stayed there, I probably would have been right there next to him. I've been in that same situation. So the military, like you said, it got me out of the situation. It saved my life. It matured me. It gave me responsibility. It made me feel better about my country. And going over to these, and you see these people say, oh, I hate America. Oh, America's not good like that. And I said, okay, you need to go to these third world countries and see how they are. Granted, we have our issues, we have our problems, but compared to some of these third world countries, we are way, where else can you be born dirt poor? And I tell people, you could be in a dirt poor and with enough talent and ambition, be very successful. Mm-hmm. I mean, athletes, sports athletes, a lot of them, they grew up in the poor and now they're worth millions of dollars.
Well, look at some of these kids on American Idol. I don't know if you ever watched that show or not, but some of those kids came from, like in the South or grew up on farms or stuff, and then they end up recording and making money, and it's just.
I mean, these third world countries. I tell people,
talent.
If your father was poor and your grandfather was poor, guess what? You're going to be poor, because it's that they don't. There's no room to grow.
There's a young man actually on American Idol right now. Yeah, I know. I watch it. Shame on me, but I do. Because I like music. I love music.
Yeah.
And he's from Kosovo. and he came here to America, and his parents are still in Kosovo, and he made it. And just to hear how rough his childhood was growing up in a war-torn country back in that day, and now, so yeah, it's very moving stories. And
like I say, we're not perfect, but compared to some of these other countries, I mean, I tell people other countries, if you go protest like the people do here, guess what? You have the police officers out there with billy clubs beating you down. Mm-hmm. But here, you can protest anything you want to, and you can get away with it.
I just wish it was more peaceful.
I do. I mean, if you're going to protest, be peaceful. Don't get violent, because then it just throws out. But
it ruins the reason of the protest.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if you go to these third world countries, I mean, back when Saddam Hussein was in there, nobody protested.
Nope.
Because they knew. And the way he ruled it is like, I'm not going to hurt you, but I'm going to hurt your family. I'm going to hurt everybody you care about. I'm going to hurt them. So it made where you didn't want to do nothing, because he's like, I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm gonna hurt everybody around you. And that's the way he ruled. And we don't do that here. So I mean, people need to be grateful for the things that you can do here in America. And if you really don't like it, go live somewhere else.
And one of the things that I really love about Cochise County, where we live at, I don't think we have a lot of that bickering and that political divisiveness here that you see across America. And it kills me to see people at each other's throats over some of this stuff. It's just
over strictly political affiliation.
Yeah.
I mean, let's agree to disagree, if anything. I mean, we're all Americans. We all live here. We've all got to get along to some extent. But it's people that just because you're Republican, just because you're Democrat, I'm not going to listen to anything you say, and I don't give a crap about what you got to say. I mean, everybody's got their opinion, and like I said, agree to disagree. Yep. Like I said, when I do the news, I listen to all the news, off all spectrums. And that way, I listen to it on both sides, and then I base my opinion on what I find and stuff. And
I had to quit watching. I read the news now. That way I can kind of form my own opinion. I don't have somebody standing there looking at me saying, you need to believe in this, and you need to do this, and you need to act this way. And
that's what they try to do. I just watched the State of the Union, President Biden's State of the Union last night. I mean, and I'm not going to give my opinion on it. I mean, I need to do some more research about what he said and do some fact checking on my own and stuff. But it's so much political divide here that we need to get out of the. We need to realize we're all here in America to make America better.
Yep.
One way or another. And whatever it takes, that's what we need to do. And we need to take care of the things that's hurting America and come up with a solution how to make it better.
And unfortunately, until we get rid of the current candidates that we have right now and get somebody a little bit younger, fresher ideas. Maybe, I mean, it's just...
Yeah, I know. And like I said, I'm not going to get political because we could be here another freaking 2 hours.
I'm just afraid of what's coming up in 2024.
I know.
It's at the elections. It's just I'm petrified of what's going to happen to our country.
The economy is. I mean, I pay my insurance on my house annually, so I have to pay a month, and it just went up $600.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
For my annual. For my insurance on my house, not doing any claims, not doing anything like that.
Haven't filed a single claim.
Haven't filed a single claim. Just the fact I'm renewing it, it went up $600. I'm going like, are you kidding me?
Car insurance the same way?
Car insurance the same way. Any type of insurance. I mean, the grocery store is insane. Gas is, I got my family in California, and I go there, and I mean, gas is usually $1.50 to $2 more in California. And I'm going like, why? It's just the next state over. I don't understand. I mean, is it shipping fees we're paying for, or what? I don't know.
Well,
I'm not going to give my opinion on what.
No, but California has that special gas pump thingy too, right? They use some kind of special gas for the environment. I thought. That's why it was a little bit more expensive.
They have the summer gas and the winter gas. Yeah. I think it's an excuse just to increase the price.
Prices.
Yeah. And they're trying to get everybody electric out there. And I'm like, well, they don't have the infrastructure to support.
Right.
I mean, they're already having blackouts now, and then they want everybody to have electric vehicles to plug in. I said, you don't have the infrastructure. Can you imagine driving from here to Virginia in an electric vehicle?
No. It take
every 300
a
miles
month.
you got to
Yeah.
stop over and charge,
Yeah.
and then sit there for a couple hours while your vehicle charges up.
Yep.
It'd be a 5-day trip would take you 2 weeks damn near.
Yep.
We just don't right now. We just don't have the infrastructure to support it, and they're trying to make everything electric,
Yeah.
which is fine if you. Electric is fine if you live in the city and work in the city.
Exactly, and you're going to drive.
And you work around town, and and that's all you do. Electric vehicles are great for that, because you're going to drive an average of maybe 50 miles a day. You go home, you charge it up, and you're good.
Yeah.
But if you got to do any type of long-term traveling, it's just not practical at this moment.
We stop at the Chick-fil-A there in Casa Grande, and they've got like those car chargers right there.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll see people sitting there reading books, sitting out in lawn chairs, sleeping while their car's charging because they got nothing else to do.
Yeah, in fact, I seen the one thing, I think it was on Facebook, with this guy. He had an electric vehicle and he was driving it cross country, whatever, and his electricity ran out.
Oh no!
So he opens up the trunk, pulls out a gas generator, starts up the gas generator to charge up his car, and I'm going like, what? Doesn't that defeat the purpose of having an electric vehicle?
You've just got gas
and I'm
in
like,
your...
this makes no sense. So, and that's telling me he was prepared to run out of electricity.
Right.
Because he knew it was going to, but he had a gas generator in the trunk that he pulled out and had to use fuel to charge up his car. And I'm like,
so much for saving the environment.
Exactly. It blew my mind. I was like, wow, okay.
Well, thank you so much, Travis, for coming in and sharing your story with us today. I wanted to invite you to come back. Okay. If you have any fundraisers or anything that are coming up in the future that you want to sit down and talk about, I'd be happy to help you put the word out there.
Okay, and I could do some more information about the American Legion, what we got coming up, what it really entails, what it takes to join, the benefits of joining something like that, and if there's any negatives, I'll put those out there too.
Just give me a call. We'll make an appointment and we'll set up and then I'll have you back so that we can do that. And I would also make that same offer to the American Legion Post 52 and their Legion riders as well. If they have any events or anything, they can also contact us, and we would be more than happy to promote any of their events. And speaking of events, I got a few events that I have to make. Well, I don't have to, but I want to announce a few upcoming events here at the Warrior Healing Center. Okay, all I gotta do is find, here they are, ta-da. Okay, so coming up here at the Warrior Healing Center, we have on Monday, March 11th, starting at 1700 hours and going to 1830 hours, is the Tai Chi and Qigong class taking place at the Warrior Healing Center. Also on Monday, March 11th, starting at 1745 hours, going to 1900 hours, is the Discovery Bible Study, and that takes place in the Warrior Healing Center's Military Library. On Tuesday, March 12th, starting at 1400 hours and going to 1530 hours, is the Trualta Hope and Wellness Support Group, and that is for caregivers, and that takes place at the Warrior Healing Center's main conference room here at the Warrior Healing Center. On Wednesday, 13th March, starting at 1430 hours and going to 1600 hours, is the Flutes for Vets Circle. That's interesting. I didn't know they were doing that here at the Warrior Healing Center.
Boots for vets?
No, the flutes.
Flutes?
Yeah. Usually they do their flutes on Thursday nights, so they must be doing something special, it looks like. Because it says for the Vets Circle, so maybe they're going to do something like what they do for the Drum Circle.
All right, cool.
That's what I'm guessing anyways. On Thursday, the 14th of March, starting at 1800 hours, going to 1900 hours, is the Disabled American Veterans Monthly Membership Meeting. That takes place at the Cochise College downtown campus. That's there on El Camino Real and Wilcox. On Friday, the 15th of March, starting at 1600 hours, going to 1700 hours, is our Drum Circle. And on Friday, 15 March, starting at 1730 and going to 1930 hours, is the St. Patrick's Day party. We are having corned beef and cabbage at the VFW post 9972.
Okay, yeah.
So those are just some of the events that we have coming up next week here at the Warrior Healing Center. So again, Travis, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it. And again, love to have you back. Thanks, TC, for joining in as well. Another great interview. Thank you both. We appreciate that, sir. Thank you very much. All right, everybody, have a great day, and I will see you again next Friday. Take care. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.